When the CrossFit Games first began in 2007, movement efficiency was scarce. Athletes moved with sheer power and determination, even to a fault. But as the sport evolved, so did the athletes. Movement became more refined. Every step, every rep, every breath started to matter more. Today, movement economy isn't just a nice-to-have quality. It's a requirement. It's a competitive edge during an event and in training. The best in the world move with precision, efficiency, and purpose. And that efficiency? It's the difference between an injury, a qualifying spot, or a podium finish. Maybe even the title, fittest on earth. Welcome back to part 3 of exploring the 4 dimensions of CrossFit. In part 1 and part 2, we discussed durability and adaptability, but today we're going over movement economy. Now in part 1 and part 2, I use a lot of examples from the CrossFit Games to explain those characteristics. But today I'm going to try and keep that to a minimum. I'm still going to use examples, but I'm going to focus more on teaching you how you can improve your own economy. We're going to focus on how economy can help you in competition and in your own training. So what is movement economy? Well, economy is defined as the careful management of resources. Careful is really important here. It puts emphasis on treating your finite resources with high value. Now, everyone has heard of movement economy, or more specifically, running economy. And I think everyone has a pretty good idea of what it is, but don't know exactly what it means. Running economy is a measurable fitness characteristic. It measures how much oxygen the body uses at a specific speed. Runners with a better economy use less oxygen at the same speed compared to a runner with a poor economy. So if you take 2 individuals, they both run a mile, and they both run at 8 minutes per mile, the one with better economy will be more efficient and use less oxygen, while the other one will have to utilize more oxygen, and it will cost them more to run the same distance. And in CrossFit, we can apply economy to every movement. Work rate is a very important aspect of CrossFit, and it's closely tied to economy. A greater movement economy will allow for higher output at the same energy cost. Improving your movement efficiency and economy is a vital component in being successful and having longevity in the sport. Key points we covered here: movement efficiency will lead to less energy wasted. Less energy wasted will lead to better endurance, heavier lifts, a higher work rate, and better recovery. Movement economy will bleed into all aspects of CrossFit. Why does movement economy matter in competition, and how can it help you? Number 1 is speed under fatigue. The better you move, the faster you will be able to move as you get tired and fatigue more. Number 2 is judging standards. The better and more efficiently you move, the less no reps you will have. This leads to faster workouts and less mistakes. Consistency and durability across events. Individuals with better economy will degrade and fatigue less across multiple events or multiple days. Let's put these 3 points into an example. The test is 100 wall balls for time. Athlete A completes 100 wall balls with great mechanics, smooth squat depth, and a fluid arm motion. Athlete B completes the 100 wall balls with poor squat depth, inconsistent mechanics, and unnecessary movement. By the end, athlete A has a better time, is less tired, and gets fewer or no reps, leaving them with a big win and feeling less tired for the next event. Now let's get into why movement economy helps you in your training. Number 1 is less wear and tear over months of training, leaving you with a better and more successful training cycle. Number 2 is less need for excessive recovery. Better movement efficiency reduces overall mechanical stress, allowing you to spend more time training and less time sitting in an ice bath. Number 3, better movement efficiency will allow you to handle more volume without breaking down. These 3 things are very important for durability and longevity in the sport. The less you break down, the less tired you get, the better you perform these movements. You will be able to do more volume and train more, and it will cost you less compared to your counterparts. Now let's go over a few quick examples of some athletes with great movement economy. When you need an example of movement economy, a great place to start are the champs. All the champions in the sport have great movement efficiency and economy relative to their field. Briggs is really the only argument against this. But even though she lacked movement efficiency in some areas, she made up for it with her economy and respect to her endurance. Matt Fraser's weightlifting background allowed him to have extreme efficiency with a barbell. As he progressed and accumulated more experience over time, he became extremely dominant because he improved his running economy. Tiatumi, another great example of having extreme proficiency across the board, and maybe one of the best examples of having really good running economy. Rich, Justin, Katrin, Adler, all these athletes have great movement economy. If you lack efficiency, it's akin to swimming upriver. Winning an event at the games is hard. It's even harder when you're competing against yourself and the field. When looking for movement efficiency in an athlete, there are a few key movements or positions that really tell us a lot. The overhead position, with a bar or when inverted. The front rack position, under heavy loads and for extended long sets. The snatch or the overhead squat, ring muscle ups, and finally, running and rowing. These movements are great for showcasing the expression of movement efficiency and movement economy due to their complexity and or involvement in multiple joints working simultaneously. Let's get into some actionable steps and approaches you can take to start improving your own movement economy. Let's start with general movement efficiency. I like to categorize movement efficiency into two buckets, mobility and ability. Mobility is being able to access the needed range of motion freely and with control. Ability is being able to perform in said range of motion under load or some form of stress. So a practical example here would be you needing to improve your overhead mobility. You would do sets that would first open up the spine and open up the shoulders and help you freely move in the overhead position, and then right after you would enforce that position by working on your ability, maybe with some handstand holds or some overhead carries, alternating back and forth between these two things. Key thing to remember is open up and then reinforce, going back and forth, improving the movement as you go. Next, we're talking about smoothness. Smoothness is performing physical activities at low effort with high precision. Smoothness is something that you can see and is not as measurable in every scenario, but when you see it, you know it. The best way to improve your smoothness is to break down the movements and practice them and focus on technique. Then slowly practice the movement in isolation before adding fatigue. If you want to improve your smoothness in ring muscle ups, then you need to start with basic kipping drills, improving basic gymnastics positions, and improve your mobility. Then start performing the muscle ups in isolation with as little fatigue as possible, executing perfect reps. Then slowly introduce more volume, a little more fatigue, while you still maintain executing perfect reps. You rinse and repeat this, and slowly you will start to see you improving your smoothness and your reps will start to look better. The final thing we're discussing today about how you can improve your movement efficiency is throttling. This one is probably new to most of you, but you probably have a good idea of what it means once I explain it. Throttling is the ability to change effort or power in a movement to the lowest required amount of energy per rep, reducing overall energy cost. You can think of this as pacing an individual rep. If a workout had 30 power snatches in a row at 135-95, then you wouldn't perform every rep as powerfully as you could. You would pace it and do just enough so that it wouldn't fatigue you more. You would want to perform each rep with the exact amount of power and effort to execute it well to standard, because anything more than that is wasted energy. To improve this, you need to gain proficiency in the movement and have a lot of experience doing it. Then you can slowly start to play around with throttling and changing your efforts per rep. If you're not very good at power cleans, you probably shouldn't be playing around with how to change your efforts. You need to perfect the power clean first before you can start changing the power in the movement. Some people are just naturally very good at this, while others need to spend a lot more time gaining the proficiency in the movement and practicing it at different speeds and different loads. Weightlifting and gymnastics is where you're going to use this throttling technique the most. Using work to rest scenarios where you can practice the movement with great technique is a great way to start. A great tip for improving throttling is also to film your movement. If you film yourself and you see yourself moving, see yourself doing the movement, you will be able to get a better idea if you're working too hard. To summarize, a few key points we made in this video is improved economy equals smoother, faster, and longer lasting athletes. I encourage you to film yourself, self-audit your training, and really try and focus on improving movement efficiency every single training session. Ask others to watch, and don't be afraid of a little bit of criticism. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm sorry it took so long to get part 3 out. I've been very busy. I really am looking forward to the final video where it's going to tie everything together. Thanks again for watching. Please subscribe, and I'd love to see you in the comments. Until next time.